The next article I want to look at is entitled Christian Prophetess Defends Trump. Even angels use the phrase Sleepy Joe. So let's give this a watch and see what she had to say.
When Trump does something that we would call rude, or he's in your face, or he names somebody like Sleepy Joe, is God suddenly shocked or disappointed that he acts that way?
Absolutely not. He knows exactly who he's going to pick, and you all know none of us are perfect. Is that correct? But
That is correct.
he chooses, because God's seen the beginning and the end. And sometimes those people maybe go over a line we don't like, but he's not shocking God at all. That means it's not necessarily okay, but you get it with the package, okay? And he is definitely accomplishing everything God wants. And actually, this is hilarious. The angels sometimes will repeat the very things that Trump say. Like they call him Sleepy Joe. I can tell you God himself called, well, we were just going to repeat it since it was said, right? When God had me prophesying up in Colorado, he actually said these words. Why would you pick a villain for a president when I have already sent you a superhero? That would be Trump.
This woman is bizarre. Who the hell is this? This isn't the first strange thing this woman has said. I talked about her last week, but I decided to do a little bit more digging and find out more about this woman. If you want to know who the evangelical voting bloc is listening to, she is the perfect representative for the voting bloc. This is who evangelical voters follow. This woman. There are a couple other clips that I have here of famous speeches that she's given. And we're going to give it a listen, but before we actually listen to the next clips, let's read some of this article here. Kat Kerr, the self-proclaimed Christian prophetess who thinks heaven is home to cows driving tractors and a city made entirely out of jello, and who said this week that all those people seen standing in line to vote early are definitely supporters of Donald Trump because God told her that, is back with more secrets from the Lord. This time she says it's not a big deal that Trump belittles his critics by calling them childish names because that's what the angels do. Heaven is apparently an eternal MAGA rally. Who wants to tell them that they're in the bad place? This is Kat Kerr describing what heaven is like. She says she's been there. She knows what heaven's like. And this is it. This is somebody describing heaven first person. This is a first person description of what heaven's like. So let's listen.
His father's house isn't a building, but natural man thought that's what that meant. And the throne room is also not a mansion. Jesus Christ doesn't live in the throne room all the time. He actually has his own mansion. He deserves it. He had to come and live as a man and put up with all that, right?
Amen.
He died for us. I think he deserves his own place.
Yeah.
Why is she building on this lore? I really don't get this. It's like if you ask questions like, did Adam and Eve have belly buttons? They shouldn't have had belly buttons, right? Because belly buttons come from the umbilical cord, which means that you were in a womb at some point. If they were born basically as adults by God, they shouldn't have belly buttons. When you build on lore like this, it stops making sense. Vulcan's blood is green, I believe, right? What color is their earwax? This is stuff that hasn't been built out. These are questions that have not been answered because the whole fucking story is made up in the first place. They're nonsensical questions from the start, and it helps you recognize how absolutely preposterous this story is. So this woman is building on the lore anyways, for some reason, even though it's a stupid idea. Claiming that she has physically been to heaven and she has seen it in person, and she's telling us that Jesus has his own mansion in heaven, basically. Let's continue listening to her describe Jesus in heaven.
A magnificent mansion that's in the biggest field of flowers that all sing. They sing all the time. And I mean, they have faces and they sing, and they're beautiful.
Flowers have faces and they sing and they're beautiful. That's what she's saying. I'm just like at a loss for words with this woman. And this isn't even the strangest thing. This isn't even the strangest thing. It gets stranger.
And I've seen inside his mansion, it's mostly just a big, it's a big place where there's tables laden with all kinds of desserts, every dessert on all pencil walls, every dessert you'd ever want because Jesus likes sweets. And there's dancing there all of the time.
Oh, okay, dancing all of the time. I think I know some Christians who would beg to differ. In fact, one of my favorite quotes from Seth Andrews is, this is a quote that he picked up when he was little. Like, he was told this by his evangelical family members. Dancing is a vertical expression of a horizontal desire, i.e., dancing is wrong because it's basically saying that you want to sleep with the person that you're dancing with. Footloose was based on a true story, apparently. There are still Christians out there today who believe dancing is evil. This is so bizarre. Just everything about this is so bizarre and extreme. Let's keep listening to this woman.
He plans special parties. When someone comes home, he will actually send someone in his golden chariot
Jesus will.
with an invitation to that individual, which is given by one of his angels, his personal angels, and they will read off of this beautiful scroll that they are going to be the guest to honor, the honored guest at a party thrown by Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God.
If you're wondering why she's describing it in such detail right now, she does this on a regular basis. This isn't out of the ordinary. She describes God in vivid detail, describes Jesus in vivid detail, says that she can draw pictures of them. She's touched them physically before. If you're wondering why she's doing this right now, it's because she wants to, basically, she doesn't want people to feel bad that they've lost a loved one. She wants them to know that heaven is a great place, and she knows because she's been there physically herself. Let's keep listening.
And he brings in that beautiful chariot all the clothing that they're going to wear to this big event. They dress like kings or queens. That's what they do. Very beautiful garments. And then they come up and he escorts them out. He takes them in and introduces them to everybody. And there's all the prophets waiting to meet them. Whoa. The prophets, many of the great known ministers that were on the earth, the south, people they always wanted to meet when they were alive on the earth. So he has these fantastic parties. Whoa. And that's why he went to all the weddings, because it was the closest thing he could remember to home would be to go to the weddings.
She's linking her lore into the already existing lore. She's saying the reason Jesus went to so many weddings in the Bible, which, did he go to like a ton of weddings? I don't actually remember that part from the Bible. Maybe he did. Maybe he did, and I just missed it. But she's saying the reason that he did is because he loves partying. It reminds him of being in heaven. There's something broken in this woman, seriously. There's something broken in her brain.
They would have dance, they would have cake, and they would have flowers. And he loves flowers, dancing, and sweets. That's his three favorite things besides us. Leave a jar of honey in your pantry and put Jesus' name on it. He might show up. It was his favorite thing to eat when he was on the earth.
I'm sorry, what? It was his favorite thing to eat when he was on earth? Leave a jar of honey in your pantry and it will draw Jesus? This is fucking bizarre. But don't worry, it gets stranger. There's another part to this. Remember, this is the woman that evangelicals look to. This is one of the many figures that the evangelical voting bloc follow. She's not a bit player. She has a following. Let's listen to this.
We were talking about the body parts warehouse earlier.
Yeah.
And how all that happens. You know, how do you requisition heaven to release a body part if you're praying for a friend or a family member that really needs something, you know, they need surgery, their liver, their heart, whatever part. They actually do have a body parts warehouse in heaven, and several people have been there and seen it. And it does look like a warehouse, but not like what you would see here. It's very supernatural. It's an amazing building, but they actually have a protocol on how they operate, like sort of like what we hear on the earth. They actually have a huge reception.
Okay, so she's saying that they have a she's saying they have a body parts warehouse in heaven. And when there's a request for a human body part, it's the same process as any other warehouse on earth. Let's keep listening.
And down, you're seeing creation and creativity all over in the universe while you're waiting. And what happens is when someone prays in faith and asks for a body part to be sent, they say, I ask for a requisition to be given to the body parts warehouse that my friend needs a new heart or they need new eyes. Whatever that requisition is, when that prayer is released, it's sent to this body parts warehouse, and they will call for an angel to come from the back of the warehouse, and they will hand them this requisition, which is the request.
Okay, how about that? So she's saying anytime somebody prays for like a replacement like leg or arm or eyes or whatever, anytime somebody prays for something new, petitionary prayer, a service order is filled out, and I guess a receptionist at the body parts warehouse sends the service order to an angel, and the angel grabs the body part, the requested body part, out of the bin of spare parts to give to the person who prayed.
They then take it into this other place. I haven't been in the other place, but I know they're getting it approved. It has to be stamped, approved for this time, or else they would stamp it for another time. The body parts warehouse has been established. It's been in heaven for a very long time. And I actually was present in a meeting when the body parts were sent down from heaven. So let me go back a little bit, because when they go in that room...
Oh, please do. Please go back a little bit. I am having so much trouble following this whole story. Somebody in my chat said this is like she's writing Jesus fan fiction. The sad part is she's writing it as though it's real. She's presenting this information as though she was physically there. She is telling people she was there and saw this stuff take place.
When the body parts were sent down from heaven. So let me go back a little bit, because when they go in that room and it's stamped approved, that angel goes to the back of the warehouse where there are thousands of bins, like clear see-through bins, not plastic ones.
They're not plastic bins, but they're clear see-through bins. Are they glass? How did they make these bins? What are they made out of? Are they like HDPE? Are they food-safe bins? Let's expand on the lore. If we're going to expand on the lore, then let's not do a half measure. Let's go all the fucking way.
Sustained by nothing. They're like suspended. They're just suspended in the air, these bins. And they will go in there, and if it was for new eyes, they go collect the 2 eyes. By the way, they're alive and living. The hearts are beating. The eyes are seeing in these transparent bins that are just suspended in air.
That's disturbing. The eyes are seeing, the hearts are beating. What are they beating? There's no blood, right? There's no circulatory system, is there? Are there spare veins in this bin? Like, do we have spare veins if somebody gets a vein that blows out, or an artery or something? Do they have any of those that are spare? This is so strange.
In these transparent bins that are just suspended in air, they're in an orderly manner, like you go down rows and you get whatever body parts are needed for that person. But all these parts are alive, because there is life in heaven no matter where you go. And they take them, this is a wonderful part, they take them then when they've got them in, they put them in a box and gift wrap them.
Why doesn't God just create this stuff on the spot? Why does he have to have a big-ass warehouse with angels assigned to reception duty and, like, purchase order requests and stuff? Why doesn't... he's all-powerful, isn't he? Why doesn't he just, like, blink and then it's done? Why doesn't he just, like, blink and it's over and they have a new limb and that's it? Why does he have to go through the whole process of filling out forms and getting angels to like manage this big ass warehouse and have like living, breathing parts that are actually alive in big, clear bins. This is just the strangest shit I have ever heard in my life.
They've got them and they put them in a box and gift wrap them.
Gift wrap.
I know people would say, that is so weird. Why would they do it? Because this is a gift from God. This is not something they could do for themselves or get themselves. This was God being moved either by the faith of the person asking or the faith of the person who desperately needs this. And I can't determine why, when, or how. I just know this happens. And so they will get them, put them in a gift box. The angels will come down to earth and they walk through that person with these body parts. They walk through them with a gift box, and they walk through the person and come out the other side, and the box is gone and the parts have been put in the body.
Why the gift box? Why do they have to walk through the person? Like, everything about this story is inefficient. She's trying to dress it up as though it was perfectly efficient. The whole thing is fucking absurd. There is something broken in this woman. I will say it again. She is stating this as fact, and the evangelical voting bloc believes her. Life in the Doghouse. What color is Vulcan earwax? Telltale's asking those hard-hitting journalistic questions tonight. I'm just pointing out that once you start poking holes in lore, it all falls apart. It's exactly the same with this woman. That's why people try to stay general with the Bible. Most people don't want to expand on the lore. That way, they can chalk anything up to God's mysterious ways. They don't have to explain anything. I mean, they don't have the answers to anything. The more general you keep it, the fewer contradictions slip in. That's why pastors and people like that try to stay general. But this woman doesn't give a shit about any of that. She's just going full force. She's going forward, putting her foot on the gas. She's making shit up left and right, doesn't care if there are contradictions. And by the way, there are mad contradictions with what she's saying in the Bible right now. I don't know if her story is cohesive or not. I haven't really paid close enough attention. But for one thing, she's claiming that she has physically seen God. She's physically seen God. And the Bible says that that's impossible. No man can see God or he'll surely die, or something like that. This woman is breaking one of the cardinal rules. Don't expand on lore if you don't have to, because then it becomes a lot easier to poke holes in it. And I would say she's paying the price for that mistake, but honestly, she's still very popular, so maybe people will just believe anything. Maybe that's the issue at its heart. Carla Berger, can I get a replacement part because I want perfect vision eyes? All you got to do is pray to God. That's it. You're done. An angel will get the request form from the receptionist at the body parts warehouse, and the angel will go into the warehouse. You know what? You can't, because you have to have faith. You have to have faith, or the person praying has to have extremely strong faith. And if it doesn't work, then we know that your faith just wasn't strong enough. That's the problem. So, if you want perfect vision, you just got to pray real hard and believe real hard, I guess. These people are beyond parody. They are beyond parody. You can't make fun of them. How? How do you do it? How can you be hyperbolic about this? These people are so absurd, you can't mock them.